two. Hello and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour for this fantastic new year. It is January 2nd, 2020, and I'm excited today to have Live Coding Happy Hour with you fine folks. I'm joined here with my guests, and they will introduce themselves. Let's start with Chuck.
Hi, I'm Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow, Senior TPMM. Been at ServiceNow for, this is my second decade. That's what you want to call it that. Coming up on 10 years as an employee and a customer for a couple of years before that, with always focusing around custom applications, the platform integrations. You kind of get the idea. And having a blast doing it, and glad to be here for another year in 2020.
Another year of 2020. Wonderful. Thank you. Jarod?
Hey, I'm Jarod Mundt, integration and platform security engineer at Finite Partners, also a moderator out on the SNDevs Slack channel. And I enjoy reverse engineering and just tinkering with all the platform things I can get my hands on.
And I see a bass in the background.
That's true. Amateur bass player. Have some good break time in the home office.
Awesome.
That's wonderful. And I'm Andrew Barnes, developer advocate at ServiceNow. I've been with the company a little over a year now. I've been on the platform for a little over 5 years, specialized in running large-scale development teams, doing ServiceNow deployment of update sets and systems, integrations, fun stuff like that, running enterprise systems for a long time. So I just love ServiceNow. I'm delighted to start this new year with our special friend here, Jarod. And so what are we going to do today? Oh, wait, we have to introduce our beers. I'm so bad. It's a new year. I've got to remember. I got the date right, but I forgot the beers.
Got to be
How silly
retrained
of me. And in the same order.
Okay. I am having a leftover from a cruise my wife, daughter, and son-in-law took. We had some in-room beer, and since we drove to LA to take the cruise, we got to drive back with the leftovers. I have a parched pig amber ale.
Ooh, a parched pig amber ale. And you, sir, Jarod?
I'm not much for beer, but today I have a local Boulder, Colorado Rowdy Mermaid pineapple, turmeric, and lion's mane kombucha.
Ooh,
My wife would be all over that.
that sounds very interesting. And I seem to have gotten something that's going to be fun to say. Leinenkugel.
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 From
Oh, yeah,
Chippewa
that's
Falls,
a K.
Wisconsin.
Yes. And it is a Snowdrift Vanilla Porter.
If you want to sound like a local, you just call it a Liney's.
Liney's. All right. So it's a new year. We're going to do some live coding. So if you've never been here before, welcome. We're going to unscripted ServiceNow development right here live for your enjoyment. If you don't know what that is, go visit developer.servicenow.com. Get yourself a ServiceNow instance, follow some of our training, and get into the platform and get your hands dirty doing live coding. Because that's the fun bits, is solving interesting problems. So you won't see any scripted demos here. We barely know what we're going to do today.
We start with an idea and go from there.
We start from an idea and a problem to solve, and then we go from there. And we are going to have Jarod here describe the problem that he wants to tackle today.
Yeah, absolutely. So over the past 5 or so years, I've bounced back and forth between clients and partners. And one of the things that I've heard over and over is, how can I make a scheduled report go to only the people that have items on the report? Why do I want to send it to all the managers if only 2 of the managers have late items on the report, or whatever the case may be? So a year or so ago, I stumbled across a way to do that, but I haven't had really any time to explore it further. So I thought it'd be a good way to jump in and do a little bit of hacking, but in a way that is on the out-of-box scheduled reports, and not just build our own scheduled, don't reinvent the wheel, build a whole separate scheduled reports thing. Let's use what's here and just kind of gracefully add a couple fields to it and see if we can get it to do what we want.
Love the use case.
Interesting use case. I like it. So we want to reduce the noise and only show people relevant things to them when, so don't send them a report that wasn't actionable for them because none of their stuff was on that one.
Absolutely. I have a little.
All right. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of probably 3 or 4 minor report tweaks that I have in my, personal project backlog. So if things go well and we can get this to work, maybe we can add a second one sometime in the future. But my plan is to get something working today and then publish it out there on Share.
Wonderful. So Share is a component of the developer website where you can get and download things that community members have contributed and pull it into a personal developer instance, check it out, see if it meets a use case, either get inspired by it or use it in your instances. So let's start with this screen share and dive right in.
All right, so I have a regular instance here, fairly out of box.
I am running New York, or what version are we looking at?
I believe we are New York.
New York patch 3, hotfix 1. Very nice.
So we're just on a Chromium-derived Brave browser with the SNUtils plugin enabled. So we will see a couple extra fun things on the page if you haven't used that. It can be a time saver.
I like fun things on a page that are time savers.
Just don't put them in production.
So yeah, so we'll take a look at the out-of-box view of the scheduled report. So this is one that just got scheduled. Looks like it's going out weekly, and it has just a static user base.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I stumbled across, and I think we can use to do our bidding with this enhancement, is the conditional field. So what we have when we check this box, we see a normal looking script field. And at the end of the day, what this is going to want is, just like a lot of other places around the platform, it's going to want something that looks like answer equal true, answer equal false. And so
that determines what? If it's going to send, or is there a hover over when you hover over the condition field? Execute this job only if the script value is true. Okay.
Yes. But what happens before that line is we can do any other server-side scripting.
Yeah, any ServiceNow server-side scripting that we want.
Okay.
Right?
Absolutely. So in my proof of concept that I kind of figured out that this could work, I'll jump right to it. We see up here the list of users is user_list, and the list of groups is group_list. So what we can do is we can say,
and so we're going back to our use case. I suspect what the goal here is to pare down that user list or group list in the script field, or build it. So either start with something and pare it down, or build it up.
Well, user list is going to be, does it take email addresses? It does.
It does.
Okay. Otherwise, it would be a comma separated sysids.
Exactly.
Right. Cool.
Yes. So at its most basic, we could just do some things like this. And the other part that I was hoping to explore today is that we see that the report that we're linking to, we can dot walk into the report, and we can see the table and the encoded query that will be stored as the filter. So at a high level, what I would like to do in the condition field, and then later on clean it up and maybe make it a script include after we get it working, is to put some fields in here, go up, kind of execute the report to see what rows are on it.
Right.
And if we say we want to dynamically say, send it to the assigned to field, we will be able to execute that a glide record from the report with that encoded query, get the exact same records that we would see in the emailed version of the report, loop through it, and add anybody that's in the assigned to field to this user underscore list.
Okay, so that was my next question is, how do you know which field to go after? And you're specifically doing this one for assigned to, but we could parameterize that later.
Yeah, we could absolutely parameterize that, right? So you can,
yeah, and
you know, when you abstract it to your script include, that's definitely a thing that might be useful to do.
Yep. So we want to brute force some of this?
Yeah, we can go in whatever direction. My thought was make it kind of ugly in the script first, and then we can move some of those items. We can add some more fields out onto the form. And
I'm frankly surprised. I mean, the big aha moment is you actually have access to the current object, which I wouldn't have expected. But I guess that makes sense because you need like current.active is true and current.something that it's. I like it better when they specify that in like a template comment block or something. It says you have access to current.
I like it when, you know, it tells you all the objects you have access to.
Right. Let's put this in an enclosed function with what you're passing in and out. But for now.
Absolutely. So for now, my normal mode of operations, it's a little bit clunky because right now we are on a scheduled email report, which is derived from a scheduled job table.
Mm-hmm.
So when we click the execute now button, it's going into that asynchronous queue. So we, as far as I know, we won't be able to use the script debugger on our script fields here.
Darn.
So my thought would be to just do normal GS info statements, or I'm a big fan of the Explore toolkit. So my normal way of doing things like this would be to come over here back into list view and open record in Explore.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rename my glide record to current. So all of our code will transport very nicely back into a business rule or back into the condition field on the previous record.
Those are great tips.
Yep.
And so Explore, as we can see, I just click it and then we can, we'll have our
goal eventually is to return a.
And if you're not familiar with Explorer, it comes from the Share Portal, who's contributed by a guy named James Neal over in the UK. Wonderful guy. Great stuff. This is very useful utility for ServiceNow.
Whitespace has a couple of very nice utilities.
Absolutely. If you're at Knowledge and you get a chance to sit through one of those workshops where they go into the various features, I did learn a lot 2 years ago at that. So my normal, and I just, like I said, unscripted, this is just my normal way of hacking away, seeing what works and what doesn't work. If you're not familiar with Explore, whatever the last object that's just by itself on the script here gets displayed in the right bar. And so you don't have to do current dot, GS print current dot active. You can just do current dot active and it will spit that out on the right side as true. So I will probably do a couple shorthand things along the way that are habits of mine. Just call me out if they bug you.
Do a whole episode on this.
Yeah. I like it when an episode has got more than one thing in it. Like, we're seeing Explore, we're solving the problem. It's great.
So
So you want to first put together your query, your list of records, or your list of assigned tos, really.
yep.
Okay.
So I usually start out in a script and start doing a
Yep.
comment and say, okay, first I'm going to get the report glide record. Then I'm going to loop through it. Maybe I want to just get array of assigned to, and we can parameterize that later and make it dynamic so that we'll get an array of whatever parameters we pass it in the future. But for now, let's just hard code assigned to in there.
You want to make them unique, so you don't have repeats.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because at the end, you're going to get an array, and if I'm in there 6 times, I really don't need to be in the user list 6 times. That's easy enough to do. That's a one-liner. But I love the idea of putting your comments down first to sort of get your thought process of what do I want to do.
Absolutely. And a lot of times I'm in a script include, or I'm in something that's sending things to a script action or an event asynchronously, and then calling back itself with some sort of, so yeah, it helps to keep organized from the beginning.
Yep.
I do usually skip the Visio type of step unless the customer really wants to see a nice picture. This is my kind of rough draft design step. So yes, we will get the unique array of the various assigned tos. And so those, I was planning on just putting the sysids in there. I wasn't going to walk another level deeper to grab the email address, since the report engine knows what to do with the sysid.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I don't know if you even need to do that. Just get the sysids of the assigned to, since it's a list field and it accepts that.
Well, and even better is it will follow the user's preferences for which devices to send to then.
Good
versus
point.
Just an email address, which will just send to that email address.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of, when it comes to email, sysuser has some hidden functionality that you want to take advantage of.
Mark ready for sending.
Yep.
Woohoo.
And let's see. All right.
You could even have a check in there to say, if the array length is 0, then don't send. Not that it's going to do anything anyway, but you could always return a false if the length is 0. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Whenever there's an assumption like answer is true, like, well, what if it's not?
What if it's not? What if I don't want this email report?
When wouldn't you want answer to be true?
Perfect. So,
all right. Well, then let's now we've got an outline. Let's start doing the business.
Yep.
Absolutely. So this one did look kind of boring. So I am going to.
That's actually a one-liner.
So yeah, here this report. Sys report is the raw table.
You don't even need that. Do a get ref record. You've already got current, and you know the field name, and it will get everything. It'll get a glide record for you. I've lately, almost embarrassingly lately, discovered the method get ref record. I knew about it for years, but I just only started using it. It's like, hey, get me the whole glide record with a dot walk.
Absolutely.
Which is so handy because,
extremely handy.
Then you don't even have to say which table it's from.
Exactly.
It just knows what table it's from.
Yep. There's no filter there.
Yeah, let's get something in here.
So we want to do something like the last 7 days or something, because we'll assume our report is something time contextual, right?
Yeah, so, active is true and updated is, or opened is last 7 days, something.
Yeah, active last 7 days, or and active is true. Yeah.
That'll do. Let's see what you got. Make sure you get something.
Yeah, exactly.
Still nothing.
No.
So
Well,
let's
we can also go update 4 or 5 records.
Right.
All right. So here we have, what is this? About 30 items.
Uh-huh.
And let's say assigned to you is not empty. See what
There you
happens
go.
here.
Always good to have. Oh, that
Oh,
cuts-
25.
All right. 25.
I'll take it.
That's nice.
All right.
Save.
Very good.
But yeah, in general, we wouldn't be building the reports. But when you're building this stuff, you do want to have reports that actually have useful things.
Have some
test
sample data
against.
that works.
Because, well, you want sample data that works and fails.
Yes. Rainy day,
You want
sunny
it-
day.
You want it to have good conditions and bad conditions that you test against for, is there only one person who has assigned to? Well, that's not a very good test against, you want four or five at least.
Current dot.
Get ref record. Yeah.
Ta-da. Done. Ooh, that was tough.
And then just to prove that it works, I'm going to take report def,
That and make that the last object.
put it at the very bottom,
nice.
and we see on the right side, we get a populated
It's this
glide
report.
record. There you go. That's not the
Slick.
report. That's the definition of the report. So
This report is not the report.
right, it is the report, but we don't want the report. We want what the report is reporting on.
Yeah, but you can get all that by dot walking through your report def. It's that glide record you're looking at right there, is it not?
Yes.
That's what report def is going to be. You've got everything you need. You've got the table, you've got the filter.
Exactly. So now
Okay.
I'm going to do a glide record on using the table and filter fields
Right.
Gotcha.
off of this page.
Yep.
So we're gonna simulate running the report now.
Right.
That we
And
have access
got
to
a run
those
for it.
variables.
One's to figure out who to send it to and one to actually generate the data from the report engine, but that's okay. Yep. Table. Good old encoded queries.
That's actually one of my one of my favorite live coding happy hour episodes ever. Was one that Chuck was driving on back. I think it was November of 2018.
What a
On
memory.
well, I have it bookmarked, and I've probably watched this 4-minute section from the very middle of it about 6 or 7 times, and just because it's one where you what's it? I can't type and talk at the same time, but for data-driven applications, you can put your own condition list. It's not visible by default. So you do a background script and make it visible, and then you can add that into your application and make it a nice table-driven, apply encoded query. I think is the code.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah. So I love encoded queries, passing them back and forth from your table-driven, data-driven applications.
Episode 12 of Tech Now also covers some of that stuff. As many years ago as that was, it still holds up.
Yeah, and what's hilarious about that is not only do other people like you watch the video, we watch our own videos.
Oh, heck yeah. What was the name of that method? I don't remember, but I know where I used it.
I know I used that and found it one time, and I
'Cause
can find that video faster than...
Yeah. I'm constantly searching the community and coming up with my own material going, I don't remember even saying that.
I know Dave has watched his OAuth stuff several times.
Yes.
We've all watched our OAuth stuff several times. We've even pulled it up on the show, our old OAuth stuff. All right. So now report is on the new table with the new filter. We run the query. Sweet. Then we loop through that and we get our new entries.
What do you
Wow.
like? You like get value? Or do you want this report dot assign to dot get unique? Or
So we want the user. So yeah, we want the get value of the assign to should get us the assign to's unique value. So that's fine, and it's shorter. And
Yep.
shorter is better.
So let's
shorter that's the same amount of clarity is better.
All right, so let's check out our array. Oh, it looks like we have an error.
It
is
line 16. Yeah,
I missed.
mismatched. Put another
one more
right paren. There you go. Woohoo! Now that's an array.
Yay! Looks like we do have quite a few duplicates.
Good.
Now,
80666 is in
now
there
one thing that you didn't successfully do yet was show what you expected before you press that button. You should go to your report and run the report and look at the assign to's.
So let's change this to a list real quick.
Make sure assign to is on there somewhere.
Yeah, and it is.
Okay. 25 records.
And
Beth, Don, Beth, Fred.
Throw a group by or something on there to see how many of those we're going to get.
It was originally group by. Oh, I see.
Looks like 7.
So we expect 7 unique sysids and 25 total before we uniqueize them.
Okay.
And now we go back and look at our thing. Because before you press the button, you should have an idea of what you expect. Because just getting a bunch of things isn't necessarily good. Could be bad.
Exactly.
So Andrew,
the scientist. Yeah. So this is one
a little number count there. How many do we have? Is it 25?
It is 0 through 24. Looks
Sweet.
like it.
And I can visually see some duplicates and some differences.
Yep.
And so that feels like it could be 5. So I'm feeling happier about my button press being victorious.
All right. So this is the array unique one is one I don't use a lot. I can dig through my notes.
There's a script include called array utils.
All right.
And one of the methods is unique. So you could do like var.
Yeah, you want to
list equals new array util. I can never remember if it's plural or not. I think it is.
I believe it is plural.
And then you could do.
We can look it up. I'll do that while you're punching away.
Oh. There we go. We want array util singular.
Yep, array util dot unique, and then pass it your assigned array. You could put that all in one line on 21 if you want, or you could do it. There you are. But you got to save it somewhere because it's going to spit back an array. There you are.
All right. And Andrew, the scientist, what is our hypothesis that will happen here?
With 5, right? We had 5.
I thought it was 7.
I don't remember. What's the other tab?
Yeah.
I don't store the data.
Yeah, so we should see 0 through 6.
Okay.
0 through 6.
Oh man,
sweet.
No, that's better than a bell. That's a coin. Take a drink.
Take a drink. That's great. The driver gets to take a drink too, even though it's a kombucha.
Okay, so that's who you want to send it to. Now it's just a matter of
getting them into the user list. Yeah.
Is that all you want to put in the user list, or do you want to augment the current user list?
I was just going to ask.
Your spec, man.
So I could see where I think I would want to have a static list that does its thing, and then Yeah, I guess augment is the way to go.
I would say augment
Because
too.
we've got people that you would want to get the report all the time, and then the dynamic people are added dynamically.
So this is where you would
And
need to
then
check
you
the
can handle
length.
both use cases. If you don't have any static people, then you just get dynamics.
Right.
I could
Now,
see this being a useful true false checkbox in the future.
Yep.
Of where you would sometimes maybe say only send it to the people that are defined on that list. So I'm thinking about adding something up at the top like a.
I could see, actually, what I can see is just removing the people who weren't on the list. Not just an amend, but here's the people that this report should go to if they're on it, but no other people.
Oh, that's even fancier. Yeah.
You might need a choice field on there as to how you want to operate this thing.
Because that would be, because the options you have is just additive or static plus additive, and then you have exclusionary, like only send it to these people from the predefined list who also meet this dynamic condition. So that's 3.
Or dynamic only and ignore the statics. That feels like a choice list to me.
it is. And then we also can do the exact same things for the static groups and dynamic groups.
Yikes. Okay.
So yeah, maybe we can go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, put those in your backlog. We're gonna get there.
I think for now I like just doing a quick replace users with dynamic.
Sure.
And that way down here we can say,
yep.
And I always do my curly brackets, even if it's a one-liner.
Good man. It's a style guide thing, but I appreciate it.
It's very readable. I like that.
Well, it means you can stick a GS info in there later and not have to worry about it.
So here, the user list is only assign unique.
Dot join. You want to join that. Don't assume it's going to text. Put your comma in there. Pass it the parameter. You want to make it readable, man. Oop. Single quote. No. Yeah. There.
Yay.
There. We'll give you
All right.
Chuck with the soundboard today. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Now, this is where it gets a little trickier because somebody may already be in that list. And if you just tack it on with a plus equals comma and that join, you could be entering them again.
Well, let's
come back
do
to
it. Let's do it. I think the email outbound is going to be smart enough to only send it to them once.
Actually, it is that smart.
Okay.
But yes, we could merge and then do a unique again.
That the system already handles that. So you're doing the level of effort that I would, which is unique the things I'm passing to it and let it handle its own dupes, because you're going to have duplicate users between the users and groups, but it still handles all that.
Okay.
The actual notification system handles that part. So
I like it.
All right. So
we also want to check if assigned unique is greater than 0 before you do that. Otherwise, you could end up with a comma nothing. Right before you do that, line 33. Actually, both of them. Yeah, you could surround it with the whole thing. If assigned unique, that length.
What am I doing? Equals 0?
Greater than 0. Then you want to do that stuff inside.
Then do the stuff. And otherwise,
I have something to use. Let's use it.
All right. We're even doing some reasonable error checking here. I like it.
Reasonable error checking.
We didn't go so far as to say this was good error checking. This is just reasonable.
Oh, I've seen some sessions at Knowledge that go really deep on the error checking. You'd have 3/4 of this code would be error checking.
Yeah, it depends on how resilient you need your thing to be.
How about if we do just tack on a quick else and make something like
There you go.
this,
And then set that to false down there.
Yep.
I like it.
Hey,
since we
crossed
only
that off the backlog already.
yeah,
Bounced off the backlog.
beautiful,
And then answer equals ready to send.
Nice.
Ta-da.
All right.
I
Well,
feel like this is like almost runnable.
it is.
I feel like it was another one of those that was too dang quick.
No. This is about the right. This is about the right speed. I like it.
All right. I'm going to come back here.
We also still have groups to handle.
Yeah, and we can turn those true false things into checkboxes on the form. So let's drop this in here. Save. And let's see. Let's try and get fancy. Let's duplicate this. And let's see if I can, what is it called? Execute.
Oh, you're trying to invoke the thing from Explorer.
Exactly. So here we are. Here we see our outbound emails. Looks like nothing has gone out today. See if that didn't look right. Let's see. Is it execute now?
I think execute now sounds more correct.
That looks better. That gave us a sysid as an output. And here we go.
Aha.
One email outbound. So that is definitely not 7 people. So I think
see, that's the thing. You well, there's a couple of things that expectation wise you need to take into account when you're running these in an instance like this is whether or not those users have email addresses, whether or not they have notifications turned on. Like there's a whole slew of things when you're testing sending notifications in a non-production instance that could cause those expectations to be wildly off base. Because if the user's not active, they don't have an email, they don't have notifications turned on, there's many reasons why, even if you hard coded those people. So here's the easiest way to check that is go back to your report, put those 7 people in the report and hit execute now.
You mean back up here?
Yeah. So clear, clear it out of your conditions, add the 7 users there, run the thing, and then that will be whether or not your script did what your hard coding did.
Beth, Don, Fred, ITIL user.
As Jay says, email troubleshooting is a pain.
It's gotten better in the last few years with the preview notification thing.
But I started my ServiceNow career doing some really silly things with emails. So
we all have.
I learned the email debugging really well right off the bat. silly things I did with emails.
That looks like 7 to me.
So now this allows us to align our expectations of what the report did versus.
Did you run it?
I did, and it looks like
Just
It-
Fred.
Just removed
Fred. Fred's the
admin.
only one who's got, yeah, because admin was our original
Yep.
static system administrator. Fred's the only one who's got email that
So,
works.
met
Let's go check.
expectations.
Looks like it.
In a weird sense, yes. Again, demo data.
It's, and that's what makes it great doing it live.
Yeah.
Not
And-
having
Learn more when it doesn't turn out like you expect.
That is when you learn things, is when you fail.
And you remember them much better.
Oh. The first time I did single sign-on in ServiceNow, I didn't learn anything because it worked immediately.
Oh,
The second time, however,
yeah.
I learned a whole lot more.
That's why people say, Chuck, you must know everything. Well, if you learn by your mistakes, I made a lot of mistakes. And I don't know everything.
So, why don't we just go ahead and throw what I wanted to do was maybe throw a login somewhere, but I mean it met the expectation of only putting one person
Right.
in there.
We could always go into the user profiles and fix up notifications to verify this.
I mean, I kind of like to at least get 2 in there just to validate there
Okay.
was not
So let's go
something
see
not
why Beth isn't
super
getting the
weird.
email.
So let's troubleshoot Beth and get her working at
I'll bet
least.
she's got notifications turned off. Which of
So
course
she's
isn't on the form
active.
by default.
Yeah.
She's active. That's step one.
all right.
Next is the notification field.
And then after that, it's checking her notification preferences, but hopefully we don't have to go that far.
Oop.
You're down in the related lists here, but what is on there?
Notifications under, it is on there.
Third thing on
Under
the split.
language.
Why are we not seeing it?
Is it hidden? And
Funny. I don't see it.
it must be hidden. Because it was under third thing under the
Right.
email side. Well, go to the list view, sir.
That's what I do.
if a UI policy or client script gets in your way, go to the list view, I say.
It's probably going to be one of those. Oh, we changed that out for subscriptions a long time ago. There it is.
Disabled.
There's Beth. There's
Yeah.
David Liu.
So
there's Don
yeah.
Goodliff. They're all disabled. So just
Well, it's not on the.
It was on the
Notification.
update all form.
Oh, nice. Because it's not running the UI policy.
okay.
I love that. So now we
Alright.
rerun that same report and see if we get Beth, at least. But I think we suspect that it did more of them.
I selected all that had it disabled and updated 34 records. Uh-oh.
Send ready and only Fred.
Oh, that's
Who
because
updated the.
we didn't have it set to conditional.
Ding, ding, ding. Well, you don't need it.
Yeah,
You've got
it
those all
needs
as
to be
static.
conditional. No.
No,
Oh, you
that's
did
true.
run the thing.
They
yeah.
should.
And
Yep, just ran it
still
twice.
just Fred.
So that either means that they don't have notification record. She wasn't locked out.
The
She
device.
has notifications turned on. The email is present. Maybe a device. So drop into. Yeah, we're gonna have to check out her devices or property. I mean that there shouldn't be anything else blocking her, really.
Let's check the related lists.
Do you have any of your email blocking stuff that you have worked on in this system?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so
Let's check that real quick though. Uh,
yeah, good point.
so no, I don't have. I think you're referring to our sub-production email filter item that we published on Share.
Yeah. So you don't
Nope.
have that.
Out of box.
All right. Drop it. So I would impersonate her and see if she has anything weird on her notification setups.
Well, up there where it says notification channels, it says primary email is not turned on. Flip that. When did we get end impersonation?
So one of those was part of the white space UI 16 dev share item, and then one of them I think is a New York out of box feature.
I just noticed it this morning. I've always had to like impersonate back to admin or my account or something. It's like, wow, end impersonation, that's a great idea.
All right, so take 2, and we should see 2 people.
To see 2. Whoop.
There we go. Nice. All right. So now we can do the execute and see if we get 2.
What used to be called devices is now called channels because it's more than just devices. It could be like Slack or something. So
we turn on conditional
behind that. Jace confirmed. End impersonation was added with New York.
Yes. A couple of plugins added it before then, but platform added it. New York.
Running it, watching for it.
Sweet. It looks what we expected.
Static admin +2.
I like it.
So in my imagination, or did the +2 get put on the front? The email engine must be doing something funny with the way it orders things, but that's fine with me as long as they're all in there.
True. When it comes from user underscore list and gets
dynamic. That looked like dynamic plus static, but frankly, whatever.
Yeah. Is it working?
Yes. Who's going to know that it's not sorted properly?
Because it's going to break those up anyway, so the order doesn't matter.
Right. Hey, and we got some good email debugging in.
We did sneak in some email debugging. Well, that feels like victory. Is there anything else that you want to add that you can complete in less than 5 minutes?
So
yeah, what's in the backlog that you wanted to add?
So I thought what might be fun would be to relabel the conditional field and the condition field, and then add 2 new aftermarket ones that go right in the same place, just in case somebody. I've never seen a single report where anyone had scripted using that, but that way we can use the out of box fields for our purpose, but then include and evaluate our custom ones to allow someone to do that. Also, to get some of these variables out of here, and move up
and into the record.
Yeah, those should be in the record. That seems like a good 5-minute exercise.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's add those into the record.
Let's do it.
Now, now that you're actually doing work, do you want to throw that in updates it?
I was just going to say the same thing, and he's right on top of it. We're not dealing with a newbie here.
We are not.
He's coming back next week.
Well, the next feature is a little bit more ambitious, and that would be adding in a reference field to probably a list to the dictionary table, and to be able to dynamically select
Which reference field do you want to?
assigned to.
Yep. That'd be easy. I mean, that's a beautiful use case for get value right there.
But for now, what do we do? We'll do replace users with dynamic.
I thought we were going to make that a choice of what we wanted to do with the dynamic people. Because there was more than just a yes or a no. It was like a ternary option at least.
So I think behind the scenes, we will just have a single array of people. Well,
the end you want is a single array of people, but
yeah,
like I was saying, is you could want to replace them, not replace them, or exclusionary ones, which is 3.
Chase is also saying you might want to do a scoped app too.
I mean, this is working in the global space on a global record. I mean, it can be a scoped app, but it really is truly being a global thing here.
You can put a scope change like my own fields onto a global app. That's not a problem. But for this one, I would probably agree with you. Global, since it's already global, it might make sense.
Well, because the only reason to have this is you want to share this to all of your scopes, and that is basically the job of global. And I don't have to do anything extra for that.
Right.
I don't have to set up permissions to allow other scopes to use it and leverage it and create records there. I don't need boundaries for this one.
So what's the consensus on choice versus string with the choice list? What are you guys using these days?
I usually use choice. It's sort of self-documenting that. When somebody looks at this, they go, it's a choice. I know that functionally they can both do the same thing. In fact, string is sort of this multi-personality thing that can do a lot of stuff that it shouldn't. But I'd rather glance at this and go, I know it's a choice. It's going to have a drop down, easy to look at.
And
then we were going to add the ready to send, right? I like a man who knows how to use that. A person, a being who knows how to move a thing up really easily, which is select all the things you want to go down and tell them to go down.
Yeah.
Which moves your thing
thousand clicks using the other way has taught me that. And the third option, how do you like to word that? Only if in both, or only?
Is that a union?
It is.
If you have 3 people in the static and
intersection of it.
Intersection. That's what I'm looking for. Intersect static and dynamic. Something like that.
Yeah, that is not user friendly wording.
Hey, it's starting to sound like our newsletter meetings now here, Andrew. It's kind of nitpicky wording. Now you all can appreciate those newsletters we send out. We have grueling discussions over
present in both. I love it. Now that is user-friendly reading. Present in both. It's the definition of the word intersection, but I like to spell it out.
There you go.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Invite him to the next newsletter meeting.
No. Only if he can replace me.
Ow. Very nice.
There's a certain limit to the size of a group that I want to bicker over wording with.
Yeah, that's true. The bigger the group, the longer it takes. Yeah, there you go. We may even want to consider a switch at some point, but that's okay.
We just had a great discussion yesterday on SN Devs about switches.
We did.
I'm a fan.
Switches.
I am too. If it's more than just an if else, dang it, go to a switch.
Yep. Yeah. Later, your future self, when you want to go add that third, fourth, fifth option, will thank you.
Or put two of them together to make them, instead of this or this or this or this, it's like, just go 4, 5, 6, 7. They all do the same damn thing.
All right.
Sorry, I'm talking to an old crusty programmer who was doing C in the 80s. Oh, by the way, 1980 is now 40 years ago.
That's okay.
I'm getting old fast.
Nope. Getting old the same rate as everyone else is.
No, the older you get, the faster it goes. And other people's kids grow faster than your own.
I grabbed a code snippet from elsewhere to remind me how switches work.
You need a case, and you need a break, and you need a default. I would be really reluctant to put a return inside of a switch or a while or a for. It's just my styling. I don't like to jump out of things that way. Set a return value and then return at the end or at your nearest convenient, not a block of stuff place. In fact, I forget if it was Goran or somebody wrote an article about, or maybe it was Stephen Bell. He was doing a video on best practices. That you really don't want to return inside of a loop because it makes a big old mess of stuff inside of JavaScript.
That sounds like something Stephen would say.
He said it more eloquently and had better examples than I do. What do you do? Like 4 of those videos on coding best practices?
That feels right.
Those are awesome videos if you haven't watched them.
He's also got some really excellent ones on just understanding the depths of Glad Record.
Oh, yeah. The thing to remember about the switch checker is it needs to be a string or an integer only. It doesn't do well with much else. Jay says, the thing I love about scopes is you can remove them. It's hard to uninstall and update set.
Agreed. I wonder if in this case, scope would still have access to current or current, that condition field should be able to call a scoped script include.
It should. I mean, if you put the script include, you put the script include and say make it available to all scopes, and you got no problem with the script include.
All right, now we don't need this piece. All right, so
one more test before we call it the hour. Felt like a good 10 minutes worth of robustness.
All right, bombs away. Execute now.
It was set to append to static.
Just now.
Just now.
Now do a replace.
And
hate it when you start selecting things in the form still drawing.
that should just be 2.
Yep. Should
Correct. Let's fire away.
be. Sysadmin should not be in there.
That's
And
just 2.
we only have 2.
The ones we expect.
Hooray.
All right. Let us stop this.
All righty.
Like some victory.
Well, that was a blast.
My camera went dark again.
Why?
Hey, when that happens.
I was hoping for something really good or really bad, but either way, I was hoping for something
You were
entertaining.
hoping for really bad?
Well, I didn't want to be somewhere in between. I wanted something to work or something to fail spectacularly.
I'd call that a spectacular success, my friend.
I appreciate it. I agree.
I appreciate that sentiment, though. That's my kind of, like, I want to swing for the fences and either make it or miss horribly. I don't want the base hit. I want to swing all the way.
We've had our share of horrible misses on this show.
Well, that was fun, and I like the idea and concept, and I think it'll be really useful. And again, we're gonna. You said you'll, throw this up on share, and we'll get to try it out and see if it's useful for other people, and if it is, we'll even get some more promotion behind it, because this sounds like something that could be really powerful. Like, it's not super complicated, but can make people's lives better. Like,
what is your desired end goal for this? I mean, you're going to have the fields on the form, you check conditional. Are they going to have to insert one line of code, or is that going to be self-remedied if you put in those other 2 fields? Is that what you're thinking? Or how do you see somebody utilizing this? Because I don't know that I want to modify every single one of my reports with this: check the box, enter these 15 lines of code, check this box, enter these 15 lines of code.
The thing I would expect from this, and you'll give me your thoughts in a second, but the thing I would expect is you say whether or not it's dynamic or not.
Yeah.
And that might be by choosing that field and starting it with none. And once you choose that, it automatically populates the script include into the condition that invokes itself with the right information.
It's kind of what I'm thinking.
I like. Yeah.
You'd need to check if there's already something in that script include, though, or in the condition field.
Right, but that's it. But the user, the method for the user is, if they choose a dynamic option, then it auto does all the rest for you.
And it probably won't, because in theory, they're sitting on the report page. They just click schedule. They're seeing that form view. Yep. It's a brand new record. So there's likely not going to be anything in conditions.
Sure.
So yeah, some UI policy where you say enable dynamic, maybe to get it all kicked off, and then you see the 4 other fields displayed. Plus maybe some UI policy or client scripting that helps you out with that initial line of code.
Functionally, it's working. We just got to beautify it a little bit, but yeah, I like it.
I don't expect them to ever have to see the scripting.
And my ultimate goal would be to be able to dot walk up to like the assignment group dot manager and include them, and not just do whatever happens to be on the actual record.
Right.
You could do that.
Yeah.
You could
do
that.
You'd have to build something like a custom picker.
No, you can use the tree picker. When you go into a UI policy and you're saying turn this field on, off, visible, whatever, that field tree picker, you can dot walk through that. You could use that. And then your get value would just use the value of that. So it says get value of assigned to dot manager.
But we could get that from the report. Yeah. So I understand that, Chuck, but what I'm trying to think is how I could get to there from the report definition, because I actually need to get from the report definition to the table.
Oh, I see.
To then further down from there. And that feels like, I don't know an out-of-boxy way to get to
maybe we could add a document ID field or something on there and have it be hidden.
Reverse engineer the UI action part. I'm sure the answer is in that field, because it's not pointing to any specific table. It knows from the parent records table.
Right. Yeah, that could be an avenue to pursue.
Not UI action. UI policy action. That's what I meant to say. Alrighty.
Well,
That
whatever I do, I'm planning on having a GitHub repo matching up with this share item. And so if
you want to contribute,
you come up
contribute.
with something,
Wonderful.
yeah, put some enhancements and some
Great
ideas
idea.
out there.
That's fantastic. Well, let's go around the horn and rate our beers. Our
My parched
drink of
pig,
choice.
toasted amber. I'm giving it a solid 4.25 with the 0.25 success factor.
All right. That felt like it was probably going to be a 4 beer. So that's good. You, sir?
Absolutely. I've probably drinking 100 of these in the last year. This is a 5.
It's a 2. It's a 2.
He wouldn't keep drinking if it was a 5.
It's my favorite brand and my favorite flavor within it. So yeah, it's an easy 5.
So this is as close as I'm getting to snow here in North Carolina anytime soon. And my Snowdrift vanilla porter. I don't typically like to drink things that have the word vanilla in it. It was solid. It was not as dark as I was expecting. I wanted,
Really? Okay.
it's kind of cold day here in North Carolina, and I thought I would get a porter and be a little heavier. So it gets a solid 4 with the bump. Otherwise it'd be a little shy. Looks like, is that the Hacktoberfest shirt?
That would be this year's Hacktoberfest. It is.
I love that. Just
and my coaster is last year's Hacktober.
He had this much of that shirt visible.
And you nailed it.
And I was like, that looks like the Hacktoberfest shirt. I got mine so late. It was almost Christmas when I got mine. It was pretty late that I got mine, but I love DigitalOcean's event. I'm glad that you wore your shirt. So that's it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us, both of you fabulous folks, and all of the people who watch the show now and those who watch it in the future. I hope you enjoyed it. By the time you watch it, hopefully this will be up on the share. You can contribute it to it via the GitHub that he's going to throw up, and look forward to seeing you in the future. Have a great year developing ServiceNow this year. 2020 is going to be wonderful. We're going to release Orlando soon. We're going to be in Orlando for the Knowledge Conference. The call for speakers is open right now. So if you want to share your story, come and submit a proposal to be a speaker at Knowledge 20. We'd love to have you because we love to hear your stories and share with other developers, because we as a community make each other better by sharing. And have a great year. Thank you, everybody.